Let's start this. It's time. It's the Tank and G show. Yeah, you know what they do. We talk about sports, and today we're back on that mental health. Let's go. What's up, my beautiful people? Once again, the Tank and G show. I'm your boy Gio,
It's your boy Thank you. What it do?
and we got a special guest today. Let's introduce him. Daniel, go ahead.
What's going on, fellas? Pleasure to be here, man. I'm a big fan of you guys' podcast. I definitely watched every episode. As soon as Jaime told me about it, I'm like, I gotta watch it, man. So it's a pleasure to be here for sure. Thank you guys for having me.
Pleasure is ours. And just so what drew? I mean, what drew you to the podcast? The sports side, or because I know usually we just talk
Yeah.
sports, but well,
Yeah,
what's something that that you like were drawn to, or just supporting the homies?
yeah. And, of course, supporting the homies. Of course, Jaime and I are friends, so definitely wanted to support that, and just like you guys talking about sports and whatnot. I'm for sure a sports fan. Gotta love the Niners. You know what I mean? Gotta love the Bay Area sports. So Warriors, Giants, all about it. You know what I mean? So the fact that you guys talk about it, just kind of drew me into it. So it's a good time killer.
Yeah,
Definitely.
no, yeah. I mean, we talk a lot about the Niners, soccer, MMA. I've mentioned before, I'm not really into basketball, but I guess how the Warriors doing. I know they're doing better than last year. I know, and I know Clay's back, but give us a little. Since I guess, are you a big Warriors fan? Like, is that
I am, yeah, man. I've been following them. They've been playing pretty good. As of late, they've been kind of slumping with their defense and their turnovers, but for the most part, they've been solid. They hang in there and they pull out W's. So all that matters actually right now. I'd be watching if I wasn't with you guys. So they're
they're
about
playing?
to kick
Oh,
off with the Nuggets. So, but yeah, man, it's been a great run so far. Definitely living up to their expectations, if not even more. So it's been great to watch them. I'm a big fan of Steph. So anytime I can watch, and I'm gonna watch it. You know what I mean?
no, yeah, I feel it. I mean, I've seen Jaime. You've gone out to a couple games. I've seen that.
Yeah, bro. It's because my girl and I we usually just take the train up there, hit up Spark Social, get a little tipsy, and then head to the game. And yeah, the stadium, bro, is fucking clean. Like
It
any
is.
Yeah,
any anywhere you sit, it's a good view. Like
Mm-hmm.
it's smaller than Oracle, and I don't know, bro. It's super nice, super nice, and super easy to get there.
It's good vibes, man. It's really nice outside too. You got that big ass screen. We could just chill and just
Yeah.
kind of vibe there. What I like about um, I was going to call it Oracle Chase is that all the restaurants, all the booths that they have there, all the food, it's all local Bay Area restaurants that just essentially just park their vendors and then they just sell food out of there. It's not like your normal like hot dog and like pizza here and there. Just like they actually have solid food there. So that's what I like about them, about
well,
Chase.
yeah. When I went, my boy he invited me like 2 years ago before COVID. I just remember like all the good ass food that they had. Like they have like different kinds of food, not just your regular burgers, hot dogs. They got like
Yep.
lumpia. They got like yeah. That's why I like it. That yeah,
Tamales.
yeah.
Yep.
They got all that. Yeah. And then yeah, like you guys said, the stadium's cool. But yeah, just to start off, as we always start off with the show, Jaime, Daniel, how was your guys' week?
I had to
Uh,
go for it.
yeah. My week was cool. I was telling you before Daniel hopped on. I was able to play the semifinals against a team that I got my nose busted up. And no, I wasn't looking to get him back or anything. And I was like, I'll let karma do its thing, cause shit. I was like, whatever. But we tied. But since we were in a better position, we ended up passing to the final. Final this Friday. It's this Sunday at 4 p.m. at Kelly. If any of y'all want to slide, it's gonna be bragging. But yeah, other than that, it's just work and kicking it with my dog and my girl. And that's it. How about you guys?
That's bold of you, bro. Did to get back on the field, man. That's
Not, you know, when I lied to you, bro. Like, I was thinking about it, like up to the day of. I was like, oh fuck, what if I get hurt again? And then like I would like my heart would just start going boom, 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 and I'm just like, oh shit, this is that anxiety shit that everybody talks about. But I was like, I was like, nah, I got it. Like, just sack up, bro. You're good. And yeah,
did the homeboy apologize or anything? Did he
nah,
acknowledge you? Did he say
nah,
anything about it?
nah. Not for he's one of those like hood, like hard headed guys that just like doesn't give a fuck.
You fly tackle him at least.
Nah, he only came to my side once the whole game.
He knew.
Yeah, he knew. But but in my head I was like, it's a semifinal. I'm not trying to get carded, like a red card. I don't want to put my team down.
That's what's up.
Yeah.
Maybe the younger Heimer would. He wouldn't care.
Oh yeah, the younger Heimer.
Yeah.
Yeah, definitely. I would have taken him out.
My week was pretty good. It's been going good so far. Just focusing on work. Now that Super Bowl's gone or football's gone, it's just got to find the next sport to follow, which is right now the Dubs. So just been focusing on that. I'm a big sports person, so whatever sport's on, man, I'm watching it. I've been trying to catch on some Winter Olympics, but it's not really. Yeah. I'm not really feeling the vibe, man. It's just like I don't really know what's going on. I don't really know who's performing out there, so can't really follow it as much.
Yeah, and besides like the like snowboarding, everything else, there's some sports in the Olympics that I'm just like, what the fuck is this? Like they're skiing and then out of nowhere they're shooting something and then they keep on skiing. I'm like, what the fuck is this? I've never heard of this.
Yeah, cross country ski or something like that.
Yeah.
Then they got the one where like it looks like they have brooms, right? And they like sweep and get that whatever that is.
And the
curling.
Yeah.
And isn't hockey a sport too?
Yeah, I feel like that's the only team sport out there. I mean, they have like what they call is like bobsled. It's like like a go-kart, if you will, and then like they push it and they all like jump in. There's that. There's just like a hella different ones. Just like I don't really get the point of it,
Yeah.
No. Yeah, I mean, for me, I mean, I'm football year round. Like, I mean, there's a bunch of news always, so that's all I watch.
Yeah.
But Champions League, we had a couple games this week. So I'm excited for Chelsea next week. They play. They just won the World Cup too of the club. So that's one we have never won. So that was a good one for us.
Yep.
But my week, same like you guys, just keeping busy, work, hanging out with my girl. Nothing too crazy. I mean, I just chill at home. I just chill. I don't do crazy stuff no more.
It's cheaper too.
Yeah, for sure. Definitely cheaper, bro. For sure.
But yeah, I mean that's where the week's been for me. I mean, but just to start off, I mean, we had a episode the first season, I guess we're calling that, about mental health, mostly about what I go through, and we opened up a little bit about it when me and Jaime came back. I shared a couple things about me, something that I struggle with every day. I try to manage it. I'm sure it's tough some days, but I keep pushing through. But today is Daniel's day, and if you're ready, you can start sharing what you go through, whatever you want to share, your story.
Yeah, most definitely, man. Thank you again for you guys for having me on, and I definitely see mental health as a major issue. We definitely got to focus on that as an individual. Focus where you're at mentally, and always just be aware of what's happening. With your mental health, because it really goes a long way. So part of the reason why I wanted to be out here is to kind of share my story is, throughout my childhood, I experienced a lot of difficulties and a lot of childhood trauma, essentially, that till this day, it still kind of haunts me and kind of, I still go through it. And now that I'm older, I'm kind of starting to learn how to live with it and kind of, deal with it in a way. But So I do want to kind of tell like my story of what I went through, just so I can not to kind of to share my story as far as like I don't want any sympathy or any for you guys to feel bad or anything like that. It's just more of like, hey, I've been through this, and you know, we can overcome it. You know, like so. You know, I started off with you know, of course, I grew up in San Mateo, right? In San Mateo, at the age of 7, you know, normal day, whatever, summer break. You know, I have my sister, so I have an older sister at the time and a younger sister. So my older sister's 3 years older than me, and then my younger sister is 4 years younger. So, you know, we get picked up thinking, you know, we're gonna go to my aunt's house. It's normal day, whatever. Okay, it's early in the morning. Think nothing of it. We're at my aunt's house for like a good, you know, couple hours. Then we go back home. When I go back home, I see a bunch of different cars of my uncles and my aunts. It's just like, hey, what the hell's going on? You know, it's a normal Tuesday, but yeah, you got hella people like we're about to throw a party or something. You know what I mean? It's like, what's going on? So I walk in the house and I'm like, all right, cool. What's happening? Start getting that gut feeling, you know, that gut feeling. It's like something weird is happening right now. Walk into a room and there's just my mom. I just see everybody, you know, of course I walk through everybody. Everybody's just there, just being hella sad. Like, what the hell's going on? So my mom was like, hey, you know, you kids sit down. I got something to tell you. She's like crying, you know. I'm like, what the hell's going on? Come to find out, my pops passed. What? Like, I just saw him last night. You know what I mean? Like, what just happened? Turns out, you know, he had a heart attack overnight from suffering from high blood pressure. So, you know, so that happens, you know, we do the funeral and all that stuff. We end up moving to Hayward, from living in Hayward, maybe about a year later or so, less than a year later, my mom meets someone else. Right. And at that point, I'm still grieving. My sisters are still grieving. We don't want nobody else in the picture. You know what I mean? Because we're still missing dad. So at that point, we're like, hey, what's the point? Like, why? But we weren't thinking, you know what I mean? Because we're kids at that point. We're just like, hey, we're being selfish. You know what I mean? So my mom's like, you know what? I gotta live life. You know, I gotta have a partner in my life. Yada yada. I'm like, all right, cool. You know. So we welcome a person into our life, you know, and at that point, you know, they start doing their thing, and you know, about a year or two later, you know, my younger brother, you know, is introduced to this world. They have a kid together. You know, we're all living life, whatever. Remind you, I have aunts and uncles that, you know, still live in San Mateo, and you know, they're part of my dad's side. And I like, you know, I enjoyed hanging out with them because I felt like that connection that was still there with them and my pops, you know? So every year, one of my uncles and his 2 kids and his wife, you know, my cousins, they would drive up to Mexico just as a, you know, family break and whatnot. And, you know, I would sometimes tag along with them. So one time I tag along with them, you know, come back, you know, we have our fun time out there. We come back and I'm ready to go home, right? Because we come back here in San Mateo, and at the time, again, we're living in Hayward. So I'm ready to go home. Try to call my mom. She's not answering. I'm like, what the heck? Next thing you know, they get a hold of us, and my mom's like, hey, you can't come home right now because I'm somewhere where no one can know where I am. Like, what? What's going on? Mind you, at this point, I'm like 10, 11. Like, what's going on? She's like, you just can't come home. She's like, you're going to have to go to a police station, and then from there, a police is going to drive you to where I am. I'm like, what the hell? So that happens, right? I go to the police station. They drop me off. My uncle drops me off. I go to the police station, and then I got a detective driving me to where my mom is. Throughout the drive, you know, the detective was explaining to me, he's like, hey, your mom was involved in a domestic violence issue, ordeal, and right now she's in protective custody with your siblings. I'm like, what's going on? Right? He's like, I'm not going to tell you anymore. I'm going to have your mom explain to you what's happening. Okay. So I get to the hotel where they're at, and I see my mom's just hands just like wrapped with just, because she was injured, right? So she explains to me everything what happened. Apparently they got into it, right, where he ended up getting a kitchen knife, and they were in the room arguing, right? And eventually he ended up, kind of, being on top of her, holding her wrist down and just slicing her wrist, carving into them. Luckily, at the time, my stepdad's cousins were living with us. They were renting a room. So they heard all the commotion and all that stuff. They broke in and they separated it. Dude ends up, running away, getting in the car and just bouncing. That's why, my mom had to be in protective custody because he wasn't in custody. So he was just out and about. They were, they wanted to make sure that she was safe and my siblings were safe. Okay, whatever. My mom recovers from that. Dude ends up getting arrested, a few days later. At that time, keep in mind, my younger brother, who's also his son, probably about 4 or 5 months at the time. My mom just didn't want to press charges, right? Dude wasn't a citizen, so he ended up getting, even though he didn't get charged with anything, he still got deported, right? Throughout the whole time, my mom kept in contact, maybe about 6 months later, he ends up back in the picture. Like, wow, like he almost, took your life and you're letting him back in the picture. She hit us with again, I need somebody in my life. I need help. I have you three, and then I have, this little baby here, and that's his son. I got to have him back in the picture. Mind you, my sister, my older sister at the time, she was a teenager, I would say, about 13, 14. She's like, hey, if you let him back in, inside the house, I'm leaving. She's like, where are you going to go? She's like, I don't know. And she starts calling like all my uncles and whatnot. She's like, hey, can I come live with you? Yada, yada. She ends up leaving and going to live with my uncle for a few months, right? Okay, years go by, whatever. At the same time, I'm not messing with dude because of what happened. It's like, we're living together, whatever. It's like, I can't really like go anywhere else. I got to take care of mom. A few years go by. My mom ends up having another kid with him. At that point there, it's 5 of us, my 2 sisters, my 2 younger brothers. So another night, normal day, whatever, go to school. After school, go to my boy's house, hang out, play some N64, watch movies, whatever. 5 o'clock comes around, my sister picks me up, go home. When I come home, something fishy's going on, right? You get that gut feeling again. What's going on? They were arguing, but they weren't having a loud, like loud mouth and whatnot. They were just like, you can kind of feel the tension, right? So I don't know what came across his head, but he had this thought that my mom was out to get him. She was calling people to come and get him to take his life, yada. Because apparently they had just gotten like a life insurance policy or some shit like that, and he thought that she was trying to cash out or some shit like that. So, the arguments keep going back and forth. At the time, my older sister was dating a cholo, so he was like, "Oh, so and so is like trying to get her and her friends and what yada to come get." They've been circling around. Keep going back and forth, whatever. Dude leaves, throughout the day, comes back, leaves for like half hour, comes back, same argument, leaves, comes back, same argument, starts calling his parents from Mexico. He's like, hey, if you guys, next time you guys see me, you may not see me alive. You're going to see me, in a coffin, yada, yada, whatever. This is going out from 5 o'clock to like 8 or so, right? 9 o'clock, whatever, watching TV. I'm still listening in because I'm keeping an eye out because of the history, right? So, getting ready to go to bed, whatever. Walking to my room. I hear him, at the same time go to the kitchen, think nothing of it. Whatever, he's probably gonna leave and just call it a day, whatever. He ends up grabbing another kitchen knife, right? And he ends up walking towards my mom. Me not really thinking nothing of it. I didn't hear really much of it. And he grabs the knife and he points it towards his throat. And he's like, "This is gonna end here." I'm like, what the fuck? I only caught that part, right? And the next thing you know is just yelling and screaming. And I come out, I rush, just go towards him, right? Keep in mind, I'm 13 at the time. I only weigh about 100 pounds. I'm like 5'2". I'm a small ass kid. So I jump on him, start swinging, doing whatever I can to get him off my mom. At the same time, he's still swinging the knife around, whatever. You start seeing blood all over the place. Next thing you know, he turns around and he faces me and he's like, "Oh shit, here we go." Right? He charges at me. Of course, he tackles me. He's on top of me now at this point here. I don't feel it, but he ends up gushing my face right here. This big one. That was the first one. He gets me right here, and then he gets me right here. And next thing you know, my mom jumps on him and he gets off of me. I get up. At that point there, I'm just covered in blood. Like, what? Is this really happening? Is this... It was just like a horror movie. I just couldn't believe it, but it was really happening. You know what I mean? At the same time, my older sister grabs all the siblings and they just run out of the house. I'm going back and forth. I'm looking around, trying to see what I can grab as a weapon. I grab a baby swing and I just throw it on top of him. That kind of gives him gives us a couple second window. And I tell my mom, "Hey, run out the front door." I go out the back door. He runs after her. When I go out the front door, I'm just out there just yelling, just pleading for help. "Hey, somebody call 911, try to get somebody's attention." Because mind you, this is 9 o'clock. It's dark out. We don't really have any phones to call anybody. I mean, we had phones, but he kind of pulled them throughout the argument. Throughout that, he pulled the landlines, so we couldn't call anybody. So I'm out there just yelling for help. My sister runs over to the neighbor's house, banging on their door, asking to come in and whatnot, or call 911 or something. So I run back in the house. Of course, I don't see nobody. So I run out the front door, and then I see him grab my mom by the hair and just go across the street. At that point there, I'm like, I can't take this dude. This dude's 200 pounds. I can't do anything. So I'm just pleading for him to stop, just please, just let her go. Let her go. Eventually he does. He lets her go and he starts running towards me. I'm like, all right, here we go. This is it. I'm done. Luckily, he just passes right by me, gets in a car. I'm like, all right, cool. You're gone. At that point, my mom's running across the street. We greet each other. She's scared. Shitless off her mind. I'm scared too. Thinking this is going to be it. This is how we go. That's it. We're done. Thinking I was going to, just run out of blood. So he ends up, getting in the car and he just slams the gas and just across the street. We had a big ass fence, and over that fence we had it was a trailer park home community. So he just boom slams right into that fence. I guess he was trying to take himself out or some shit like that. So at that point there, I just I run in. We're kind of looking around and we see that our siblings are in the neighbor's house. So we go to the neighbor's house. And we we reunite with everybody. And then the neighbor sees me and they're like freaking out. They're like, oh my God. Because again, my face is split in half. This guy right here, this top one here, it's also split in half. It's like you can see my skull, you can see the insides of my face. So they're like pleading me to go inside their house. And I'm like, no, I'm covered in blood. I'm not going inside. They're like, get inside. I'm like, no, I'm covered in blood. Like, I'm good. I'm fine. Like, dude's gone. Like, whatever. Like, call the ambulance. I'll go to the hospital, whatever. They're like, get inside. So I go inside. And then that's where I'm looking around and I see down the hall, I see the bathroom. I go straight to the bathroom. Within like 30 seconds, the whole bathroom is just covered in blood. Like, what? I look at myself in the mirror and I see that, see my skull. I see everything like inside my head. I'm like freaking out, but also trying to stay calm because, my siblings are there and trying to essentially be the man of the house, trying to make sure that everything's going to be okay. It's over pretty much. So, thankfully the ambulance got there, the fire, and the police got there. They took me to the hospital. They took my mom to the hospital. They took my siblings to a foster care. So at this point here, I'm in the hospital for, I'd say about 3 days or so, just wrapped around, just gauze all over my head, 100+ stitches. So, finally get released. Social worker comes in. She's like, hey, you're not going home. You got to come with me. I'm like, where am I going? She's like, you're going with your siblings, but you're not going to see your mom for a minute. Like, what? So my mom was also released. She ends up going with her sisters. At that point there, we're in foster care. The reason why we're in foster care is because of the fact that this has happened before. And the state saw that as my mom put us in danger. So they essentially took custody of us from her. So, thankfully I have a great family. So my uncle, fought. He had to take classes. He, fought for us and eventually he got us out of there, right? Where he can take custody for us for the moment until my mom goes through her process and getting custody back. So at that point there, we're all like 5 of us living in 3-bedroom house. And that's just us, not including my aunt, my uncle and his kids. Right. So it's a packed house. But at that point, finally my mom got custody of us. She ends up moving down to LA. All my siblings left. I decided to stay for 2 reasons. I was still bitter at my mom for what she had put us through. And second reason is just I was more comfortable here in the Bay Area versus going down south. I had all my cousins who were all guys. I had someone to look after or look up to. So yeah, now everyone's, living in LA. I'm living up here. I grew up, out here with my uncle and my older cousins, until from like 13 all the way to 21. So I just, moved out and, became on my own. And so, yeah, man, that's kind of what I went through. And, till this day, I've forgiven my mom. I forgave her. At the end of the day, that's my mom. That's who brought me in this world. I get along with her fine. Yeah, she put us in danger at the time, but we're here. I'm here. My siblings are safe. I'm safe. I'm living. I'm breathing. I can see. I can smell. I can taste. I can walk. I can feel things. I'm grateful for that. So yeah, man, that's kind of what I went through. And like I said, till this day, it still lightweight haunts me, like I sometimes, have nightmares. Again, I don't really think much of it, but I from time to time just have those off days where I feel kind of a little depressed, you know, have anxiety at times, we're just like very anxious, just whether it's just out of nowhere, out of the blue. But luckily I've learned how to deal with it and how to kind of overcome those feelings. So it's been an ordeal. It's been a whirlwind of what I've gone through. But at the same time, it's also made me a stronger individual, a stronger person. And I've grown a lot from it. I'm grateful every single day. That I'm able to see the world. So that's my story right there. And I just wanted to share with everyone that even though we go through some shit, at the end of the day, it could have been worse, right? It could have been worse, and we got to be grateful that we're still here, and that we have loved ones. We have friends, we have family, that care for you, and they're always going to be there no matter what. So, yeah, man, that's what I wanted to share and with you guys and everyone, that listens to this.
Yeah, that like you mentioned, it sounds like from a movie, right?
Yep.
Like you can't believe things happen, but things like that happen, in the world. But just for me, from hearing this story, I'm like you said, man. I mean, like, I'm happy you're here. I'm happy, that everything was taken care of, and it was just, like you said, a traumatic experience, and that has, like you mentioned, it has affected you growing up, and I'm sure, you had a lot of questions. I'm sure it must be tough because, like you mentioned, this all happened, and you weren't even 14, 15 years old. You were still a kid, and I feel like it probably made you grow up quicker than you should have. Because now you're worrying about, I don't have my mom, my dad, that moment you're living. I'm sure you had that uncertainty, like, where am I going to go? Like, we're in foster care. Like, are we going to get split up? Like, I'm sure that all went through your head when at that time we should be worrying about, like, man, like, I wonder what's my toy going to be for Christmas, or I can't wait to play with my friends. So I'm sure, like you said, it affected you, but it made you stronger. I mean, it made you the man you are today. I'm sure of that. And like you mentioned at the beginning, I enjoy hearing other people's stories because sometimes we obviously we all feel like, this is my world. No one knows what I go through or feels, and they will never understand me. But when you hear other people's stories, one common thing is we all have our struggles, and we all, every day, some days are tough, some days are tough to go to work, hang out with friends, be normal, because this right here, it controls everything, your emotions. But when you hear someone else, their story, you're like, wow, I'm grateful, for the things I have. And I'm grateful that, I'm not alone in this. That's why we do this. That's why we talk about these tough things, because I'm sure for you it's very tough to speak about this. And it might be, scary because you're like, I don't know where is it going to go? But the first time that we did it, what I found a lot, and you might see this, is just people reaching out, being like, man, thank you. Like, I appreciate this. Like, you don't know how much this meant to me. And that's our whole point about this.
Yeah, most definitely. That it's crazy because it's like you never know what people are going through. That's why I'm always kind. I'm never a dick to anybody. I'm never judging anybody because you don't know what that person went through. You don't know what that person is feeling, right? There's those assholes that like to talk shit to like people that are, waiters or like, that work in the customer service role. And then they just want to fucking be dicks and just talk shit to people just because they're mad and they're angry. But you don't know what that person's gone through. You don't know what that person is going through. You don't know what that person is thinking, like, that's why, like, my message to everyone is just be kind. be aware of humanity, of human feelings. Like, people go through stuff, and you being an asshole, you being a dick to that person is not going to make it better. Um, Mental health is a serious thing, and who knows, like, what if that person is just not enjoying life anymore and just doesn't want to be in this world. You don't know that, like, because you were being a dick to him, now that person's gonna go do something that we would never want them to do. You know what I mean? So that's what I want to get across to everybody, is just be kind and be courteous, and just be aware of what you say and how you say it, because you just never know.
Yeah. Um, Fucking yeah, that's one of the biggest things that I had to work on, because in high school I was like a fucking thing. I didn't really care about how I would say things, and I would just say things, whatever would come to mind. I'd just say it, and I wouldn't think before I spoke. And now that I'm older, I'm like, oh, I realize, like, oh shit, people have feelings. People. I don't know what that person's going through, and I'm over here being a dick. Like, that's not cool. And that's something my girl's been has helped me in these past 10 years, like in my life. Like, hey, like, you got to think about what you say, because you're gonna hurt their feelings, and you don't know what they're gonna. You might encourage them to do something, and then
Right.
later on you find out that they, maybe they suicide or something. You never know, and you don't want to be the reason why that person did that.
Exactly. Yeah. Yeah. And I agree with you, because I myself, was kind of a dick, or a dick, growing up in high school too, because I was essentially not mad at the world, but I was just angry. I had a lot of anger of what I've been through, and essentially not blaming anybody, but just taking it out on anybody. But now that I'm older and kind of realizing, like, after, I recently went, started, started to get back into it, but I did some sessions, some therapy sessions, and, kind of opened my eyes a little, kind of like of how to handle things and how to go through things. And so, yeah, you know, it's definitely an eye opener of what I've been through, and now where I was, how I grew up, and where I am now. I'm starting to kind of see everything, in a different perspective, more mature than not giving a shit, not giving a fuck about whatever people think. Now I actually do. I actually do think about what people think, as far as not judging me, but me judging them. Because I'm not here to judge anybody. I'm not here to put anybody down. That's no longer me.
I feel
What
it.
are some tools you use when you're having those off days? Kind of coming from experience. When it's happening to somebody else and you see them and you just tell, oh, everything's gonna be okay.
Yeah.
But when you're in that mindset, when you're just like, man, like, I just can't get out of this feeling, and I see no hope. Like, it feels like the walls are like, I have no escape. What do you use to get out of that, or what do you reassure yourself? Do you meditate? Do you just say positive affirmations? What do you do?
Positive affirmation is one of the biggest things that I use. I count my blessings. I'm grateful for the little things, right? Grateful for the friends that I have, the girl that's in my life, my girlfriend, the place that I live in, the clothes that I have, the job that I have. That's usually what, kind of gets me out of that zone, like looking around and just, look, I have that, I have money to buy this, I have money to buy that, those little things is kind of what keeps me motivated, and being surrounded just by positive people, man. I couldn't be grateful for the friends that I have, man. having them in my life is great, because we all grew up together, and we kind of see, we saw ourselves changing and adapting to it. So that's one of my biggest things, is just always think positive. A lot of the times is how we get there in that, that state of mind and that depression, is because you're thinking negatively, right? You're keeping those negative thoughts in your head, and to go around that or get away from that is think positive, right? Be grateful for the little things that you have around you. I still have, I still have my siblings. I still have my mom, even though she's hundreds of miles away, I can still, call her and talk to her or whatever, so that's kind of what I do is I always just think positive of count my blessings is the way I kind of cope with my depression.
I got a question for you. Cause I know in being Latino and what made you? Because being Latino, man, we're a lot of that macho mentality.
Right.
And when we hear therapy, you're like, oh, fuck that. Therapy's for people that are crazy, or I don't need that shit. What made you decide all right, I'm gonna go to therapy and give it a try? Because there's a lot of people that are against that.
So when I first encountered this here when I was 13, they kind of forced me to go to therapy. And again, I had that same state of mind. No, I don't need therapy. I'm fine. I don't need to go here. So that right there kind of opened the doors of how to speak to a professional of my feelings, right? And I did that for a good 3-4 months on a weekly basis, and that kind of gave me the comfort to be able to speak to a professional of what my feelings are and how what I'm going through. So I've always wanted to keep doing it. As maybe pre-COVID, I always wanted to do it, just to kind of feel free in a way, even though I'm happy, even though, I still have, wonderful people around me, that care about me and that, love me. There's that. It's just when you're speaking and you're speaking your feelings, there's that sense of relief that you get. And it's crazy because they go, the professionals, they go through, school and all that stuff, and they actually really know what to say and how to say it. Versus me going to my friend and, and talking about my feelings, not that they're not saying what I want to hear, but it's just better when you're speaking to someone that has gone to school for this, has educated themselves on these type of emotions and feelings. And it's a huge relief when you're talking to somebody. They told me, picture yourself, your mind as a plastic garbage bag, right? You keep stuffing it with garbage, eventually it's going to rip open, right? And when that rips open, you just got trash all over the place, right? It's not an easy cleanup. Versus if I'm sharing my thoughts, I'm sharing my feelings, it's never going to bottle up. So me doing it the first time around when I was young made me feel comfortable now at my age to continue to do it and continue to go out there and share my feelings, essentially. But it's a huge relief to do it, to be honest. And yeah. I do recommend, if you're feeling some type of way, and And yes, like I said, you have your loved ones that you can talk to, but it's more of a relief when you talk to a professional. And I do recommend it. Seek seek somebody. Seek a professional consultant about that, and trust me, it would make you feel 100 times better for sure.
Yeah, I mean, another thing to mention too is just they don't have a bias towards you as well, because like you said, friends, family, you talk to them, but to a point, they care about you, and then sometimes they will say things to make you feel better, to encourage you. Therapists are like they're pros, and they ask you questions to also challenge the way you're thinking, and that's helpful because sometimes we want to hear it from someone that has no attaches to us, and then and wants to challenge our minds, to think outside of the box. And like that analogy you brought up, I really like that one, the garbage bag, because I'm like that too. I keep a lot of things to myself. Like I'll still have conversations, I'll hang out with my friends, I'll be at the dinner table with my family, and they have no idea I'm going through it. And I just keep it, I keep it. And then once I do talk to my girlfriend. She's been a big help throughout this. Or my mom, I tell her this is what I'm going through. Once I let it out, it feels like like it just everything goes away. But back to the thing, I feel now, especially Latino males, I think we're all pretty open about this now. As maybe 10 years ago, when we're in high school, we bring this up like in the when we're in the soccer team, like, hey, bro, I get a lot of anxiety. Man, stop being a girl, like
Right.
step it up.
Yeah.
Now I feel like it's more accepted, and definitely the group of friends I have, we all get together, we all talk about our stuff, our lives, our feelings. No shame. We're there. We might, start, talking shit, but it's all love at the end of the day, and we all listen to what we got to say, and it's beautiful, like how we all got things going on. It could be as little as work, life, family, but everyone has something going on, and it's just what we all want to get to a point is, like you're saying, if you need it, go seek help. If you're intimidated by that, start talking to someone, a friend, family, get that conversation going out there of how you're feeling, because we don't want it to get to a point where you don't talk about it, and we don't want to see that sad story, and I've always said I'm open, my DMs are open. You can send me a DM, whatever, wherever. If you just want to talk to me, I'm all ears, because I definitely know how tough it could be when you feel alone and you feel like there's nowhere you can go.
Absolutely. And even if you're not fully on depressed, or have full on anxiety, it's still great to talk to somebody, and like you said, it's totally unbiased. When you're talking to a loved one, they're gonna want to comfort you, because they love you, right? They want to make you feel better. Versus going to a professional, they're gonna kind of tell you otherwise, right? They're not gonna tell you like in a harsh way,
Yeah.
but they're gonna tell you how it should be. And like I said, you don't really have to be full on depressed or going through shit. Just go and have a few sessions, have a couple. We're all going through a pandemic where we don't really get to go out as much, we don't really get to socialize as much, right? It could be hard on people, especially those people that like to socialize. Go talk to somebody, and just have a couple sessions. Trust me, that's going to make you feel so much better. It's going to make you, like you said, and that weight off of your shoulders is just going to go, because you've spoken your mind, you've spoken your feelings, and trust me, there's no better feeling than that. When you get to speak your feelings, you just feel so relieved. You feel like you can get a good night's rest. So yeah, I would definitely, go do it. Go do it.
Yeah, like I just recently started, and then it, yeah, it feels good. It just feels good to have, just it's once a week for me, and it just feels good just to like be like, this is what went in my week,
Mhm.
and this is how I felt, and then this is how I handled it, this is how I couldn't handle it, and just giving me the task, what I need to do. Okay, when this happens again, maybe you should react this way. Think about all the times you were able to overcome it. So it is helpful, and you know so it's out there, and there's a lot of resources that helps you out with it, and don't feel that, man, I don't know if I can afford it or anything. There's different things. There's numbers you can call too,
Mhm.
and then been very flexible during this pandemic. You can do it online. I personally like person to person. I feel like
Mhm.
it's better, but even though there's a lot of resources out there,
Yeah.
and don't feel that there's nothing that basically like there's no way of finding help. Like there's help out there.
Oh yeah, definitely. And like you said, I mean, now most insurances, for your job cover that, especially right now with the pandemic, and now that it's more out there as far as mental health goes, um, it's there's definitely resources out there that you can reach out to. The other day, I was watching a game, and there's a California helpline for the people that are going through it because of the pandemic, and I thought it was cool to see. Um, but yeah, it's definitely out there. So, whatever you can find, go for it.
Yeah, like I seen like a lot of companies too. Like they even like now you could ask for PTO. You can now like ask for like a mental health day.
Hmm. Hmm. Oh
And
yeah,
I'm just like,
I've
oh
seen
wow,
that
like
too. Yeah,
I was surprised by that, but it's cool.
and that's one thing too. I would definitely recommend. Is take take that extra day. Take your 3-day weekend. You know what I mean? Every so often. Maybe take so what I usually like to do is I sometimes just take a whole week off of work and just have it to myself. Like the other day, like a few months ago, I did one of those without telling my girl, and she's like, "Why didn't you tell me? Like we could have gone somewhere." I'm like, I just wanted to just a me week, like just whatever, like not have to worry about work, not have to worry about being somewhere, just waking up and what can I do today? And it's like it's such a relief to like have those days and have those weeks. I would so recommend doing that. Just take a week to yourself. Like if you're going, especially if you're like some work can get stressful at times. Um, so that's what I typically do is just get a week off and just take it to myself.
Yes, I've seen like I have a buddy of mine that he like on the weekends he'll like, well, I don't know if he still does, but when I used to work with him, he would delete Slack, and Slack is just an application where like
Yeah.
you communicate with your other coworkers on different channels, and he would delete Slack just so he could escape that stress from work. He's like, fuck that, I'll see you guys Monday.
Hmm. Yeah, for sure. Whatever helps you just escape, do it. We all have hobbies. We all have, little things that we can do, and that's great. Pick up a hobby, like get your mind on something else other than your mind,
Mm, I like that.
you know?
Yeah, during like this time that I'm trying to, so I got back into Legos. I got to buy. I wonder if you guys could see them. So
Yeah,
I've
see
been
them.
building. I've been building them. They're expensive, but like I said, it does. I just get sucked into it. The 2-3 hours that I spend. I build a big Star Wars one. I got a Batmobile, and I got all these helmets. It's great. It's great. Like, yeah, I like to exercise, and that's good too. I recommend exercising too. Definitely helps you out. But this is good. I think for my mind, it works well for me because I just get like, I gotta finish this. Like I gotta, it's something as a kid I loved to do, and now it's becoming another another dent to the pocket. But I think it's worth it.
Yeah, whatever makes you happy, and especially like when you're building, because I also like to build stuff. But it's like once you build it, you're like, oh, I made that. You're
Yeah.
proud of yourself, right? You're just like, all right, cool. Like I accomplished something. It's very minor, but at the same time, it's very relieving that you created something.
Yeah, I mean, there's no better feeling like you see it and you're like, man, I did that. But
You're
it could
right.
be, drawing. It could be my friend picked up reading books.
Mm-hmm.
Whatever, it could be anything you're into.
Yep.
It doesn't matter. But as long as it helps you out, and that's what's important.
Definitely.
Yeah. Shit's crazy, man.
You throw that shit's crazy when it gets that awkward silence, right?
Yeah.
Nah, but I mean, yeah, it's just I just think it's crazy, how how strong the mind is, and back to the mental health thing, the mind is a muscle. So you know how we work out the biceps, all that. Like you got to put in the work too for the mind, because like when you let your mind control you and you get sucked into the negative, it's just easy to just be like, I can't. It is what that's what I am. Like I'm just a negative person, but it takes practice. It's not
Yep.
going to be overnight. You gotta put in. If you were training for a marathon, you run those miles. You gotta put in. When you're feeling horrible and you're feeling like doing anything, for example, that's when you push yourself. Like, you know what? I'm not gonna let this. I'm gonna go out. I'm gonna just walk around. I'm gonna do this, do that, because then your mind starts thinking, okay, when I feel horrible, when I feel depressed, or when I feel anxious, I can still go out and live my life and not be a prisoner of my mind.
Mm-hmm.
That's lately what I've been trying to work on, because for sometimes when it's bad, I'm like, I just want to go lay down and just lay down and just be there sad. But like I'm still, I've been working on just being like, oh, I'm feeling like this. I'm gonna just go walk around. I'm gonna go play with my dog. I'm gonna go exercise, and eventually, your mind is like, all right, like this. We're comfortable in the uncomfortable.
Definitely. And at the same time, it could be also be a trickle down effect, right? It affects you, but it also affects the people around you, right? Because you're anti, I just want to hang, do this. I don't want to do that. I don't want to do this. And just like, all right, cool. What about me? Like,
Right.
I have a girl, and just like, I don't want to just sit around and just lay in bed, you know what I mean? Because then she's gonna be like, all right, cool. Like, I'm gonna go find someone else, you know what I mean? Like, I'm gonna go do something with someone else. Just like, no, it's like at the same time, you gotta, like you said, just go out there and just, go live life, go do something, be happy. Um, but yeah, it's kind of definitely something to, think about and grow from, for sure.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, it's all struggle and it's all work. Um, but like I said, this story, your story, it's an incredible story, and I feel, thank you for sharing that. I know it probably was hard, a little nerve wracking, but
Probably takes
I'm
you
gonna tell you
back.
this: it sounded smooth. You sounded like a professional, but um, yeah, I mean, power to you, man, and you definitely, you got a friend in me now, and anything you need, I'm right here for you, and but thank you for sharing this, and for the people that are hearing this, hopefully they take something out of it. And hope. I like to be like you said, positivity, just hope. To the hopeless people out there, there's hope. No matter your story, no story is better or worse. Everyone's story is important to them, but just have hope, seek help, and we can all help out everyone together. Being kind and being compassionate to one another.
Yeah, man, most definitely, and thanks, again for having me and being able to, giving me the opportunity to share. If it's definitely, something I've done before, and actually in a public atmosphere, I've definitely shared this story before. So I've done it, and actually got invited to I think this was like when I was in my early 20s. I got invited to a domestic violence I don't know. I guess you can call it like a retreat or something like that.
Yeah.
Or, so I was able to share my story with other domestic violence victims. And even though like I've gone through that, it's gone through this. There's other people out there that've gone through even more worse shit that I've gone through. And that's why I kind of keep saying like be kind to one another, because you don't ever know what that person is going through, what that person's gone through. So, thank you guys again for allowing me to share and having me on here for sure.
No, thank you for sharing and for your time, man. 'Cause, I mean, you could have been watching the Duz, but you're here with us sharing your story.
We're good.
No, yeah, anytime you ever want to come back, you could be our, we can do a sports one on the Warriors. Like I said, I don't really follow basketball like that, but you can keep us updated. But yeah, you're more than welcome to come, definitely.
Appreciate it, fellas. Thanks for having me for sure.
49ers rumors transfer.
Yeah, we'll have you on that. Yeah.
Let's go on to that topic. What are you guys thinking? What are you guys' thoughts, predictions for the off season?
For me, we definitely gotta trade Jimmy, open up that cap space, because we gotta pay Bosa and Debo. That's number one priority. That's what we gotta do. I was looking today on Twitter. There's ways of restructuring some of our contracts that we already have to open up 30 million plus whatever. If we trade Jimmy, that's another 25, 27 million. And, signing players that we got to sign and trying to find that rusher opposite of Bosa. I feel like that's important because our D-line is, I feel like anyone we bring in, they always do good. Like this season, Arden Key, all DJ Jones, all of them. It doesn't matter who's there, but if we can get like Chandler Jones, Von Miller on the other side, doesn't matter. I think our whole team. I think we have a good team, and I feel like the only thing that held us back this year was Jimmy. I feel. Because any team we played against, they knew all we got to do is stack the box. Jimmy's not going to beat us over the top. It made their job easier. Yes, I feel like Kyle was able to scheme some things to, have some people open or work with Jimmy's limitations of what he has. And I feel now that if Trey Lance is the starter, if he has that threat to run, it's going to open up our run game even more. And I feel like our run games is going to be even better. Plus the threat of, he hitting us over the top. So I feel like that should be the priority. Yeah, that definitely should be the priority.
Yeah, I've been seeing a lot of articles here and there, of what we can get for Jimmy. A few that came up is the Commanders.
Yeah.
The Commanders giving up their 11th overall, which would be nice, right? Because at that point we can get a solid corner, we can get a solid, opposite of Bosa at the end. But another, I don't think that's it's more of a pipe dream than actually being for real.
It's more of putting his value up. I'm
right.
Because they said an NFL exec, that could be John Lynch.
Yeah.
Right. I mean, one of the biggest reasons why that rumor came about is the fact that this draft is not quarterback heavy like it was last year. So at this point here, just like, okay, what could we do now to get something good? Mm-hmm. Right. Another one too that came up is Pittsburgh and kind of also threw me off is Tennessee. Them also giving up their first rounder for Jimmy. Damn. Which would be nice because I believe right now we have 9 picks for the draft.
I think we have 12 because we got some picks for McDaniel.
Okay, cool.
I guess he's half black. So we get a compensatory pick.
Oh, really? Okay, we'll take that.
So it's 12 picks, but we don't pick till I think we have a second round pick.
We have a 61 overall. Yeah, is our first pick.
Yeah, but
yeah, we'll see. I mean, we do have a lot of free agents that are possibly moving on. DJ Jones is one of them, which it'll be a huge loss if we lose him. Jaquaski and I think Jimmy also are
No,
free agent.
Jimmy Ward's still under contract.
He's still under contract. What about K1? I think that's another one,
A1, he's the one that he's a free agent.
right? So that's that's a huge, piece to the puzzle right there, them two. Um, but as far as the Trey Lance era, I'm definitely excited. I know there's gonna be some growing pains. I know there's gonna be some games where it's like we should have just kept Jimmy. You know what I mean? Like but at the same time, he's a sophomore. He hasn't really played any games, and he only played 18, collegiate games. So there's gonna be some growing pains there. But yeah, as long as we can get somebody solid on the opposite of Bosa, we can keep that defense, stacked up. I think we'll be okay. Let's pay Debo, let's pay Nick. But yeah, I mean, I'm excited for next year. It was bitter. It's a bitter loss for sure. And to be honest with you, I wasn't really happy to watch the Super Bowl. Because I kept having that thought in my head, like that should have been us.
Yeah.
It would have been us. Yeah, it would have been us.
It should have been us. Yeah. But although the halftime, show was lit as fuck, but yeah, man, I'm excited to see what Trey Lance has in store for us.
And every game he's played, he's improved. I mean, I was there against Seattle. I wasn't there that last game, but he's improved, and he just has that belief in himself, I feel. And like you said, I mean, he could still improve more because he's only played quarterback with that one season in college and one in high school, so he could even be better.
Mm-hmm.
But I just feel like this team is set up to first of all, the NFC is wide open now.
Yeah.
Because the Rams, there's a rumors that McVay might just walk and go do Monday Night Football. Aaron Donald said he might retire. Seattle is garbage now, especially if Russell leaves. And the Rams are having trouble with Murray.
Yeah. And you got Green Bay. You don't know what's going on with Rodgers. Tampa Bay, they don't have Brady anymore. Yeah, man, it's essentially up for grabs. Thankfully we're not in the AFC, where we got to face Josh Allen or Patrick or
Burrow,
or even Jackson. There's stacked on that side. But yeah, it's pretty much up for grabs.
And I feel like our team is like, we have that nucleus is just solid. And I mean, obviously we're biased, we're Niners fans, but I just feel like I don't see a drop off. Because if Jimmy, all he was doing was handing off dink and dunks, I'm sure Trey Lance can do that.
Oh, definitely.
A little bit more upside.
Yeah. And he's got that scramble and run, where we can pick up those 2 or 3 yards for a first down and keep the drive going, That's what we're missing, with Jimmy. Like he was, if it would be, 3 yards to go and it's like you can't get that first down. Like if we would have gotten that first down, like who knows? Like, it could have been a different outcome for different situations and games, But yeah, I can't wait. It's just gonna be a long off season for sure.
Dude, I keep telling my girl, like, fuck, I want football to come back already.
Yeah.
Fuck. Like I've been getting more and more invested, and I'm just like, shit, like it's too much of a wait.
It is, yeah. It's like I love the Super Bowl. I love watching the Super Bowl, but it's always like, it's the last game of football season. Now you just got to wait another 5-6 months for it to come back.
I felt like the game 2 wasn't even that good. I mean, maybe I'm just salty, but I don't think it was.
Yeah,
I agree with you.
There was one
it
point
seemed like
where nobody scored.
Yeah. Like I was on my phone, like I said, I was salty, but I didn't feel like. I mean, last year's at least, it was Brady, and they were, dominating the Chiefs, and then the one before, obviously for us, we were invested because that one hurt.
Yeah.
This one just felt like it was just a regular Sunday night game or something.
Yeah, same. Yeah, I agree with you on that one there. There's also another rumor that I also wanted to bring up and get you guys' thoughts on this here. What if because essentially Brady has never said the R
Yeah.
word, right? I don't know if you guys heard that,
Mhm.
He could
but
trade for his rights.
what if in a perfect world, we ended up, bringing him back home. That would be beautiful scene to see. But what do you guys think about that? Like, do you guys think it's possible, or you guys?
I mean, yeah, I mean, I'm just playing like imagine, like just saying if that were to become true, um, he would have to take a pay cut. He can't get cashed out because we're cashing out everybody else. That and would it be for a season or two? And I would want him to come for a season, actually retire here home, and Trey could take another year and learn from the goat.
So for me, this first of all, if he wanted to play with us, he can. I'm sure the Bucks, if he was like, you know what, I want to play for the Niners, cut me. I'm sure they'll do it. He brought a Super Bowl to them. Like, what are they gonna say? No, we're not gonna cut you. Or like, they'll be like, at least Brady will be like, well, at least accept like a fifth or sixth for me or something like that. I'm sure the Bucks won't. They won't tell him no. I'm
Well,
sure
he only signed a 2-year contract with them.
they still hold his rights because he retired.
Oh, okay, got it. Okay.
Well, they if he were to unretire, they still have his rights, so he would either have to be cut or traded.
Okay.
So, but back to it. I'm sure he would take the pay cut to play here. He's done it before. But that's the thing. I think he still holds a grudge because 2 years ago he wanted to come here, but we told him no. We're gonna stick with Jimmy.
Did you see what happened? There was an article that came out that he actually had an interview with Shanahan,
I saw that.
and
Yeah.
I forget what happened, but I think Shanahan was like, "Oh, you gotta do some plays or something like that." And then if I'm saying this wrong, you could like fill in the gaps. Um, and then Brady was like, "Oh no," but he brought up the Falcons game, and I guess Shanahan got butthurt, and then he was like, "Nah, like you don't need Brady. We're sticking with Jimmy." And then Brady's like, "Oh, I look at Shanahan as insecure."
I saw that too. Yeah, it was more of like Shanahan putting Brady in a game situation, and with his response, I think that's Shanahan didn't like it, and then that's when Brady brought up the Falcon game. But yeah, that's what I heard too. So I don't think because of that conversation, I don't think Brady would probably ever come here. And again, he also has a grudge that we didn't pick him when he was drafted, because we picked some other random person over Brady.
Giovanni Carmazzi.
Yeah. So yeah, I don't think it'll happen. It would be lovely if it did, because we have a solid squad. We have a solid offense, I should say, because we don't know what's going to happen with the defense. Mainly, everyone's kind of, 1 foot in, 1 foot out, because we don't know if they're bringing them back.
Yeah, I mean it's Brady. No matter what, I'm sure he had an MVP season this season too.
Yeah,
Still playing at a high level, and knowing how Brady is, you don't think he would want to win it here? Like if he is in our team, we have him this year, we win. Shit, if we had Stafford, we win it. I think.
for sure. Yeah, for sure. I agree with you on that one. There, if we had Stafford, for sure, we would.
You think we would win?
But
Do you think we would win with Cousins?
I don't know. That's a if. That's a if he went. I don't know.
Shanahan loves him.
He does.
but how much
But
better
like, what
than
is?
Jimmy?
Yeah.
Yeah. It's like I don't know. I'd probably take Carson Wentz over Cousins.
Oh, you
Even
actually
though
talking about Wentz? My bad. But so I heard that the Colts might let him go.
I heard that too. Which would be, I mean, if we get him right, it would be a nice backup situation, right? Because it's like at that point there, it's like you might as well go with Trey, and see and let him learn,
Yeah.
throughout the season versus putting Carson Wentz and hoping that he is back to his MVP self, that he had before he got injured, which the Colts hoped for that and it didn't happen. So I mean, it would be a nice fit as a backup, I would say.
I don't think he'll come as a backup. I think
Yeah.
backup we're looking for is going to be Tyrod Taylor, similar to Trey and solid, or like a Teddy Bridgewater, something like that. Because if we stick with Trey, is Trey's team, and then they have to have that confidence in him. Because if you're bringing in someone that could be a starter, then it tells them, they're not as confident in me. So I feel like they need to tell him, what, this is your team, it's yours to lose. But yeah, I mean, it's gonna be interesting too. All these quarterback questions, but I feel back to the Jimmy thing. I feel like he won't. Deshaun and Russell Wilson situation has to be. I feel like they'll get picked up first, and then whoever that team is that didn't get one of them and doesn't want to draft in the draft, they'll go with Jimmy. And a team might be desperate. They might throw, hey, you know what, first or a second. At this point, first, second, or third, I'll take. I don't care.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah. We also need somebody to help out Boza and Armstead.
Well, I mean, keep in mind you have Javon Kinlaw, right? I mean, we haven't really seen much of him because he's been injured his previous 2 years, but we kind of saw some glimpse with his pick six, right?
Yeah.
Before he was kind of injured. So I do have some hopes for Javon Kinlaw. I feel like he is gonna, live up to his potential as long as he can stay healthy. So as long as he plays through the whole season, we should be solid in that aspect. But yes, we probably may have to get one, if not solid, but a decent end. Like Von Miller, washed up Von Miller. I'll take washed up Von Miller, even though he's not washed up. I'm being an asshole for saying that, but
because I just think of it like this: Bosa's gonna get the double team, triple team
every
and
time
we have like a Von Miller or Chandler Jones. They're gonna eat that one, just that one tackle from them, and and then if Kinlaw does pan out with Armstead, both of them right there, like what can you do as an offensive line? Is you're gonna have to pick your poison, and then and I feel like 2019 will worked out for our corners. Our corners, were solid. I mean, we've never had a shutdown corner, but the quarterback had to take that ball out quick. That the corners were just feasting on that, or they didn't have to cover for that long.
Yep.
And this season, at the beginning, we were getting cooked a lot. And then, I feel like DeMeco Ryans, he adjusted. But it also affected us because the corners were playing so far back. That's how Cooper Kupp ate us. They just kept throwing 10-yard like comebacks on us because we don't have that corner that could press. But maybe Ambry Thomas, he did improve at the end of the season. I feel like he could be solid. And Mosley, I like Mosley.
Yeah. We shall see what John Lynch has in store for us.
Yeah. I can't wait. I mean, it's still fun in the off season. Like I like watching football, but the rumors, the draft, like it goes by fast, and sooner or later we're in training camp.
It does. Yeah, I always say July is where it starts, right? Because that's when training camp starts, and that's when you can kind of start following the team. And I don't know about you guys, but I watch like all the videos that they post on the app. I don't know if you guys have the Niner app, the 49er app.
Like the brick by brick.
Yeah.
Yeah, like those. Yeah, like those ones. Yeah, I watch them all. I even watch like the freaking press conferences.
Yeah. Oh, I watch those every week.
Yeah. So, it's like just to kind of stick with them, and they're my number one team for sure. So
yeah,
I'm always following them.
Yeah, right now the odds for the Niners to win a Super Bowl next year is 14-1, something like that.
14-1, yeah, I saw that. Yeah.
Have the fifth or fourth best odds.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. And I think the pre-power rankings came out too. They had us at 6, I believe.
I'll take
It's
it.
funny because it's like they had the Packers above us.
Oh shit! The hell?
It's like, how you gonna have the Packers above us? You don't even know if Rodgers is gonna be there or not.
I think they're just assuming he's still there.
Yeah.
Because I mean, once he leaves, that Packers team's garbage. I mean,
Mm-hmm.
they don't have faith in Jordan Love.
Yeah. And we don't know if Devontae's staying there or not.
So yeah, I mean, like I said, the NFC is up for grabs, and it's ours for the taking of everything. No injuries, because once those injuries start, and it's downhill.
For sure. For sure, yeah.
So Jaime, you wrapping us up or
Yes. Nah, another hour. Nah, just
another hour? Let's do it. Let's talk about.
Nah, just playing. Yeah, it's time to go. It's time to go, man. All right, Daniel. Thank you again, bro. Taking time out of your night.
Fellas, for sure. Thank you guys for having me. It's been a pleasure. This is fun. This is good times.
Yeah, I told you. It's just like you're FaceTiming somebody. It's not. It's nervous at the first few minutes, but after that, it's nothing.
For sure.
But all right, Gio. Good night, and yeah, I'll see you guys next week.
See you next week. Yeah, and again, thank you, Daniel. Appreciate everything you said today.
Likewise. Thank you guys. You guys have a good one.
Have a good night. Deuce.
Later.